The throw out, Closer is going to blaze for a little bit as Labrov is the trade. It gives a reset to Closer. Breaks on there, Ice pull back in. The heartbreaker, playmaker. Closer comes in.
Look at Alistair.
Okay, look at not to do. No flash, no flash.
Go.
Guys, get look here. He should start, no?
It's not contested, but Targamas, the flash 3-man engage with Canna coming up as well. Sjokz and all. KC now explode the fight, explode the side, and as Vladi comes on in, and Ice tries to win it out.
It all comes down to this. Can KC win just one more game and go on that road that they've been walking on for the entire year, but only as of recent have found their form? And can BDS win that game 5 when the pressure is at its highest? I don't know, and you don't know, and you're so nervous.
I am so nervous, yeah. Can't believe it went to a game 5.
It's crazy because just to recap, if you didn't get the context earlier in the day, KC winning would mean that Giant X is out of the season finals. MDK goes to seed 5. BDS, of course, is already locked into the season finals, but BDS has always finished top 3, so they definitely don't want to buck that trend now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, the story for BDS should be that they should try and surpass that. Throughout the entirety of Summer Split, we've been talking about how do they evolve so they get past top 3. They can't even make top 3 right now. They still can, but they're so close on the edge, and you don't even know what's going to happen in this game 5.
It's crazy. And let's talk about the previous game as well, Jackies, because again, we had doubts about the draft coming out from KC, about some of the choices that were made, but you said, at the end of the day, comfort is your best bet in a situation like this.
I mean, yeah, it's true. I think in EU, if you have comfort in a high-pressure game, I think that's what matters. I think meta is important, but if you can like kind of round it out for your comforts, that's kind of what matters in the end. And I think, to be fair, I've just seen 4 prio games, or like 4 prio lanes, or like 3 prio lanes in 4 games, there we go, and all of them are won. So I think just get prio lanes and win. Like at this point, you have to.
It's spelled out for you, indeed. Let's talk about the ADCs as well. I know you've been looking at Ice so much, and he's been so tremendous for BDS. On the other side, we have Upset, who is also integral to KC's success. And again, last game, right? Ice almost just, yeah, well, effed over all of KC's plans, but it wasn't enough.
That kid's got hands, that's all I'm saying. He's got hands. But the thing is as well, I'm sitting next to Jackie's as well, and every time Upset's in a position to just take over the game, you can hear how nervous he gets, how good is Upset. And I mean, his Zeri is incredibly good. We've started, I mean, last week when KC was playing, he even had his Kai'Sa and Zeri banned. Question is as well, should he be allowed to have one more game on this Zeri, because he just gets away with it in the late game?
I mean, I think Upset is like for sure smurfing. I think this series is just about who gets better AD carry matchup and who gets ahead from lane. Because if one of those players get the lead, it's a hard time for the enemy team for sure.
It absolutely is. When we go into kind of like the final drafts, when everything is on the line, there's a couple of things now that we've learned from these 4 games, right? We talked so much about the champion pool for Closer specifically, and the fact that the brand wasn't coming out and that he was pushed into this Viego corner. It worked though, so does that now change the dynamic of this next draft?
I think it becomes interesting because you go into that situation with BDS on blue side where they don't have to ban the Sejuani. They can first pick that Sejuani for themselves and play off a power lane or top lane or bot lane, which is probably more likely.
I mean, for me, Sejuani should be out 100%. Like, KC are red side, right? So
yeah,
that's a 100% ban for me.
We don't know. Did we get it confirmed?
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm just assuming that any team would pick blue side.
I mean, it makes sense. I just wanted to make sure that we had it.
Okay.
Yes, BDS blue.
Okay, so I think Seju should be out. Then I think Labrov Rell is out. That's already like 2 locked bans. So maybe KC might have a hard time drafting this, but it just depends on BDS how they can use the moment of blue side.
What did you think of the Cannon?
Cannon? I mean, look pretty strong. Yeah.
It was also something that gets kind of thrown in the pool, right? That you now have to think about on top of everything else. But when it comes to these 2 teams, you started the day showing kind of the meme format of template that we have when teams do things that are unexpected, specifically for KC. So walk us through how we got here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure all of you've seen this 10th and 10th, both in winter and spring, with the 2-7 meme being a thing, and already coming into summer making playoffs, they've just done something they've never done in the LEC. they've made playoffs, but they need to do so much more, right? They need to go all the way to make it to season finals to still have a lifeline, and currently they are there. They need to make it to that 7-5 to get up there, and it all comes down to this. If they don't make it in this game 5, where they've been spent their entire winter, spring, and summer to get here, it's no different than not even being here. They need to be in season finals.
It's insane. Give us a bit of an insight into kind of the psyche of a pro player in that moment, because I feel like you have a couple of players that are probably very burdened by the context of that year that just came, right? Upset because he was part of the situation where they couldn't make it work. But then you also have someone like Vladi who seems kind of unburdened and is just playing his game.
I mean, for sure, it's like a really hard situation for Canna, any player right now in this game. But yeah, I mean, KC players are for sure like handling it really good because they are performing out of their mind. And I think BDS, like, I've seen Adam call themselves the gatekeeper of top 3. So I wanna, like, if they wanna actually gatekeep it, then I wanna see something more.
Okay, well, we say it so much about the game 5s from BDS as they are stepping back on stage as well, but it's been kind of a trauma, right? The reverse sweeps, the fact that when it matters most, now maybe it helps here that they are already in the season finals. Maybe that helps. Maybe that just leaves off a little bit of the pressure. But I feel like if you're BDS and you're a competitor and you want to get to that top 3, you want to secure the best possible seed going into those season finals. You want to get another chance at playing G2, at getting to those finals. I mean, it's just important as anything else.
No one steps on this stage with the mindset they didn't want to lose. That's the last thing you want to. And that doesn't matter if you're already in season finals. You've gone in a best of 5 all the way to game 5. The last thing you want to do is have spent your entire day for nothing to a loss, end the rest of summer and have to wait for season finals. I know it's just around the corner, but they don't care. It's all about winning, and there's nothing else to it.
And I'm going to ask you, who's winning game 5?
See, I know you're going to ask me. I honestly can't tell. It's been so difficult with the games we had so far, so I asked a random fan on my way here. They said BDS. So that random fan, I'm going to go with my gut with that.
Jackies?
Well, not saying BDS for my position is a bit weird, so of course it's a BDS win from me.
Oh yeah, it's good for him if he votes for BDS, so his word is worth nothing. Let's see if KC can pull it off just one more game to get them to that coveted top 3 spot. Nobody said they could do it. Let's see if they can.
We all said it wasn't possible. At the start of the year, we started getting an idea of KC. Both winter, spring, the 2-7 meme erupted. Again, they've already done so much getting to this point. And if they can get top 3, they can get season finals. Who knows how far they could go. If KC went from that to this, then you start asking, like, how far could they go? Could it end up being at Worlds? Like, this is a big run. They've got to do this first, obviously. That's way too far ahead. They've just got to beat BDS in now a BO1.
But that's the thing, BDS, they have never won a game 5 any time they have been in playoffs. This has got to be a first. They've lost twice to Fnatic, twice to Mad Lions Koi, twice they were reverse swept. And now Karmine Corp want to see if they can put them in their place a 5th time, a 3rd team to beat BDS in a game 5.
But I remember we were doing EMEA Masters, and I remember the BDS Academy fans were also saying extend to their Academy team. It's like a whole organizational curse.
Yep. These
best of 5s, regardless they're now. BDS on blue side. I think what's really, really important now is the fact that they handle this Kennen. Kennen is so important in Pivotal here because they do not have answers. That Sion pick was very limp.
But here's the thing, so Rumble Trist, is it going to be the Sejuani ban? Do you let go of the Rell from game 1, the Ashe from game 2, where Karmine Corp were on the same side? Or how do they want to try and approach the draft? Because Maokai, by taken away, that would force us into a position where we are going for these more carry-orientated junglers.
And remember again, that other pick is the Rell for Labrov. Renekton gets banned away here as a potential blindable, but Labrov's Rell also is up and available if Team BDS want to get him on his strongest champers. I'm glad you brought up the Sejuani. That's a B1 lock-in.
Sejuani up and available, and they just lock it away. Corki as well, and they're going to lock in Upset's best champion.
Do you take away the Rell then? That's been the other ban that's locked in. Do you try and steal away the Ashe? Because I think Targamas could potentially steal away the Rell. He's had some great performances on it. Or do you end up giving that potentially across the broad there if they steal it away?
I think the problem is not Rell. I mean, there's Braum, there's Alistar angles. You can go Ashe into it as well. I think it opens up potential for the Audion combos. Let's see what they pick.
That's got to be a little slight at the previous game of Targamas playing the Enchanter. As we channel through what are BDS going to pull out of their hat. I mean, they've been innovative drafters thanks to their top lane. Right now, it looks like go back to a classic ice back on the Jinx that he popped off with a few games ago.
And then you take the Braum. I think you're right, Eragon. You just set up for this very defensive bot lane where you don't really want particularly much to happen, but you've got a great team fight, a ton of slows and set up for this Jinx, and once she gets excited once, that could be the game decider right there.
Yeah, I think you could also do Nautilus for the lockdown versus the Zeri, but it isn't absolutely necessary. I think the Analyst is fantastic into the Rell as well as the Braum, like you said, but they're going to drop. They think we have enough options. We're just going to drop the second rotation and lock in our AD mid.
And that's where now, probably the Corki going to come through here to try and answer. Gives Nuke control over that mid lane. You get control over the bottom side of the map as well. BDS setting up for 2 strong pushing lanes, which has already been a major factor coming into this. The big question is, what does Adam want to try and take now blind into this top side? Is it just going to be the Cassante, or are Karmine Corp going to try and ban it away, knowing there's too many answers for Labrov on that support role?
But I guess also the other question is, do you now start banning supports as well? What pull do you pinch, considering you've already got the Rell?
I think you could definitely ban supports here. I think Renata bans Curious. I mean, it helps you survive single target burst combos, so maybe they're edging towards something like a Viego composition, regardless it's ranged.
I think it's great anti-dive as well, so it's probably Rell, probably the Braum, just things that do very well into dive compositions, because you're already setting that up, right? And as you say then, if you want to go for the Viego, less of an issue. If you want to try and go for even the Cannon again, for Canna in that top side, less of an issue.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think now, support pinch away is pretty important. There's the Braum, and now you're setting up for a Braum for the side of BDS as well. You have so much free hitting, so much CC potential with the Sejuani as well. I think that's a great takeaway for BDS. And then, like you said, blind for Adam, what's he got? And then R5 counter pick for Canna. We've already seen him flex his muscles. His Jace just got banned.
It feels like a Cassante pick coming through for Adam. They're setting up well. Option to potentially pull it away, but I don't think that's it. I think you want to guarantee yourself a good matchup here where you can go for the Gnar, something like that. So
I think
that's
the Gnar,
probably where they're looking.
You're completely right. I think the Gnar is the pick. Kennen and Jace do counter the Gnar extremely hard. Maybe Adam's fishing for a Gnar blind pick as they lock in the Viego like we called.
Yeah, it's going to be going back to comfort here for Closer. Worked in the last game, needs to find that early success again, but this time doesn't have the same momentum pushing lanes, so going to have his work cut out for him in that regard. Moving forward now though, feel like it's the Braum, feel like it's the Cassante, but BDS, what exactly do they want to try and lock in here?
We've been setting up for it, haven't we? And it would just be a standard round out. Labrov thinking about other engage tools to follow up. The Rakan into this Rell.
Okay.
Dagda shook his head a little bit. Eragon looks a little bit sus.
The thing is, I like, the Nautilus because you can interrupt the crash down. Same when you look towards something like the Braum, you can get in front of it, right? The Rakan doesn't have that option. You can be stunned up relatively easily. So I think this is a little bit dicey. Good when people are playing into you because you can get that ult off, but...
No way. Are you going to blind this top? Do you just assume Canna's going to play Cassante?
Jax, Camille, these are all great options, but now Canna kind of needs AP. That's the problem. So what does he have? Akali is a fantastic matchup into the Olaf because of the value of the execute, as well as just not being able to auto-attack her. I really think this could be a lock-in.
I mean, again, we talked about Adam's champion pool. Is it going to be exposed? Is it going to be a question here? He blinded Olaf B5, and Canna, the question is whether he's going to take Akali top to final... to round it out. Akali top lane here. When KC's year hangs in the balance, you know it's going to rely on that lane.
This matchup is so good for Akali because of how Adam wants to play on low HP on the Olaf continuously, and Akali can execute him from low HP. You also have the Shroud. He can't land the axes. He can't auto-attack. It's a beautiful counter pick from Canna when they need AP.
That gives you so much threat for this double AD carry on the backline, makes it so difficult to operate. But if you come out of this laning phase, even as Adam, there's very little that Karmine Corp can do to stop you. Like, if you were just running down Vladi and upset, they have no way to really deal with you. So this does become an issue. This game, again, when Adam locks in a champion like Olaf, becomes about Adam, and he needs to make it about Adam.
And I know on the desk, or at least the stage for that final game, Jackies was talking about how AD carry getting ahead in the matchup dictates the game. But I feel like we're going to be starting by talking about the top lane, who comes out of that lane ahead or at least alive, because that feels like it could actually dictate this game and maybe help decide this series.
Yeah, I think the thing is with Canna here on this Akali, he doesn't have that many threats. He doesn't have a Vi on the enemy team who will point and click him. He has just auto-attackers without much peel who he can dive in the backline. I think Canna, if he gets the ball rolling, he can definitely run away with it.
To get that ball rolling is going to be tough, though. Level 1 to 3, Olaf gets push. When you look at mid, you get push. When you look at bot, you get push for BDS. Opens up for potential invades, and we've seen what these triple prio lanes can do as we roll on in to game number 5.
We get to find out what the fate of KC is, what the fate of Giant X is in the same game. We've been saying it all night. BDS win, it's sorted. Remember that a KC win here keeps their unique dream alive. And it is crazy that they're in this position to even approach season finals when BDS also set up Giant X off on that same road to Munich. Remember, if you're interested, which you better bloody should be, you can grab your tickets for the EMEA Masters and LEC Finals in Munich now on Ticketmaster. Yeah, I'd be buying because right now the stonks of KC have never been so high, regardless if they win this or not. I mean, this has just been an incredible end to the year. And BDS have been challenged. We thought they were our second or third best team. Yes, there's been some mistakes. Yes, let's be real. The series hasn't been perfect, but KC have been challenging them every step of the way.
And I do think this game is looking very BDS favored. I think with the range advantage down bot side, they should have prio. As I say this, they're looking for an invade. Is this a lane swap?
Looks like it.
Ice is going top. And how does that affect the matchup?
So curiously, it's not an early game painful matchup for the Olaf. Maybe he's just not familiar with it and he doesn't want to lane into it. It's very much Olaf favored early game, and then as the game goes on, it becomes incredibly difficult. But still, gonna avoid that laning phase of the Akali. That's probably their goal.
At the very least, Adam helps out, as you expect here with the lane swap. A lane swap for a game 5 keeps it a little bit more interesting. Again, I was talking about season finals before. Ticketmaster on sale now. You can go and check those out. And hopefully, if you're a KC fan, they'll be there. Hopefully, if you're a BDS fan, you already know they'll be there, depending on who you love more. Vladi, big trade from Nuke. That's rough. 2 hit first.
Really well played by Nuke, just playing very far up in the lane. Hits the level 2, immediately goes in. Vladi not respecting it and press the attack on towards Nuke. Makes him very terrifying in these plays. Yep. Same for Canna, who is very terrified of potential dive on this top side, so we'll completely back away from this turret.
Yeah, looking for a potential 3rd into 4th wave crash for the side of BDS, and then you'll send your bot lane back down to bot lane to catch this wave and mitigate any tower damage. My only concern here is the fact that Olaf's going to be behind. You've set yourself quite far behind now in terms of levels.
And he doesn't have teleport as well. So it's not like the teleport can be matched for the growing wave that we often see the trade of the map. So Canna can have a bit more versatility. Adam can't. He hovers around and gets the push in.
So I suppose this is a problem that Canna has with the champion. He doesn't really help jungle clear. His jungle clear is terrible, and he can't gank mid lane like a TF would in terms of a lane swap. So he just has to wait. He doesn't have anything to do. And now after this wave take, BDS's bot lane, they should drop a reset. I mean, they could stay a little bit and potentially stop Canna running back to lane. But I think they should reset and defend that bot lane turret.
But also look at the way the map has been split out, right? Sheo moving back in towards his top side, going to clear out that. Could potentially move back up here as Canna tries to get into lane as well. So with the bounce back, maybe they want to look for some sort of play, but it will take a little bit of time.
Yeah, it is scary if you're Canna here. You're not sure if the enemy bot lane are still here, potentially, you know, going to be here to gank you as you try to walk back to lane. He does make it back, though, and he's going to get that much-needed CS. Mid lane push already as well. Vladi having to burn TP.
But there are 3 plates that have been taken down the bot side, and Adam is yet to pick up 1 as well. So we go back to standard laning, and the CS difference is there. I mean, that's a big trade. Another reason, again, remember, the fortification was buffed recently in top. It is harder to get those plating down, and still easy to get them in bot.
It's such a weird decision, because there's no reason to lane swap. Your laning phase is okay pre-level 6. It's not that bad for Adam, so you're not avoiding a terrible matchup there. And then bot lane, your matchup is fine too. You've just dropped 3 platings to avoid not really a terrible matchup.
To upset on Zeri.
Also, setting Labrov behind in terms of Targamas, you can see level 3 to level 2. So in a bot lane play, potential here for Targamas to punish Labrov. An upset, having a great reset, even picked up the early cull as well to just try and even further grow this gold lead, matching the cull from Ice.
Yeah, now Ice has to face a potential bounce back. How will they navigate this? They need to crash. You can see Sheo is down in bot side, and I suppose Closer is not there. Nuke is chunked.
I mean, he's got no mana to really follow this play up. There's no Arctic Assault or anything. Sheo just pops his head in.
And that's the thing, Nuke still has to have his reset, so still can TP back into lane, so any damage to Vladi will stick, whereas Nuke gets an option to come back in towards that lane. Push out for BDS though, and at least with Sheo showing that he's moved back into the spot side, Ice has the push.
Vladi really needs help. Nuke, he's in such a good game state because he still has teleport, whereas, you know, Vladi, he doesn't. He just had to share a bunch of XP, and now he's going to be significantly far behind as he walks back to lane. Nuke, however, he can just TP back in and be all right.
As we said, mid's going well, and we saw some of the trades on screen, rather. I am a little bit worried about top gens. I mean, again, this Olaf we talked about a little bit from the early game state. You know, Adam only picking up CS now, but you saw Canna actually got to push the wave out. He's walking back to lane. Well, Sheo is getting Dragon early, which is good. I mean, Canna's in a good spot to, again, approach that level 6 with a lead over this Olaf that we talked about being a fearful matchup.
He is behind a bit on XP naturally because of the lane swap, so things are going to be a little bit delayed in terms of when Canna can start fighting, but there's a Dragon skirmish here. Sheo, he's tanking that Dragon. It's very painful.
He's on a ward as well, so they know exactly what's going on. I mean, Sheo at half HP, as you said. Nuke is running in. The knock-up not connecting onto closer. Labrov getting battled away by Vladi on the Gatling gun. BDS have just leashed this Dragon. KC will come in and yoink.
It looked like it could have been a decent start here with Nuke having at least the double longsword to the cloth armor on the opposite side, but Labrov going that bit too far forward gets punished. You can't get the damage from Nuke, who hadn't quite hit the level 6 yet. And KC are able to pick up that Dragon right from underneath BDS's noses.
Yeah, Sheo, he was tanking the Dragon for an extended period of time, doesn't pull the trigger on the engage, but then you have Nuke dashing forward, so it felt a bit disconnected. And in the end, Dragon goes over to the side of KC.
It's a good early game start. I mean, I feel like even though the EXP point there is for the top lane, Canna and Adam are even enough where Canna's only going to be half a level behind, but he still has the gold as well. Got double amp tome, and Eragon, I mentioned it because he walked back to lane because the teleport advantage is going to be there. And Sheo now starts grubs up on the top side of the map, trying to use Nuke as leverage.
Targamas is here though, and you can see Closer very quickly coming across. I think it's just a yoink one and dip, because KC, they can happily use Canna having that advantage on top side with the at least being in top lane to help out. So KC will be able to succeed on this.
My growing worry for the side of BDS is how they're going to manage this Akali in side lane. Because you have a hard losing side lane matchup in the Olaf versus Akali, and then other AD carries who are going to match the Akali, and Akali's just going to one-shot them all, right? So I think Canna coming into side lanes, come the mid game, are going to be a real is going to be a real threat to the side of BDS if they play through it properly.
Can't believe pull this out on a game 5
It's
as well.
so high.
It's crazy. I mean, Canna is the man of everything, right? Like, we've already seen the regular season. He played one of pretty much every champion available to him. He did the same in playoffs already as well. 2 of the Jace being the most played. But if he could end it here with a win on Akali to get into the top 3, who knows what they're possible of, as Upset now appears in the top lane. Ice is here, he's engaged on, he cleanses, he flashes, he gets on out, but that's a double summoner down as Upset just threatens him away. Now Ice is exposed a bit with nothing to his name left as Close as walking in. Is he caught out? The root's there, it's onto Labrov. Good damage, but again, that's not the target.
But it still gives you the control that you need, and KC read the lane swap really well. Upset immediately up here, now you get the push out. You're the ones that can even go for the reset if you want, or just continue to take more plates on this top side, knowing Labrov is realistically too low to kind of help out.
Yeah, both side lanes now going to be winning as well. You have the top lane play, like you just said, winning, and then you also have the Akali hitting level 6 as well, a significant item advantage in terms of the all-in. No summoners for Ice now, so that looks like a regank on my screen. If they can manage to find the CC potentially.
And Ice is thinking the exact same thing. He's just launching those zaps around the place, trying to figure out where the hell this jungler might be. But from this position, it's just going to be the reset from Targamas, and they're walking back towards that top side. But Labrov stuck around that little bit longer on the top end, afraid they might go for the gank. So KC can get to this top wave quicker if they want.
I was looking at bot lane with Sejuani hovering the Olaf, potentially looking for the chain CC. I think now is one of the best times they can pull the trigger onto Canna as it gets worse and worse and worse. But not going to find it, going to reset if you're Sejuani.
But this is one of the places that BDS have been the worst at, which is trying to answer for what the enemy team is doing, be reactive instead of proactive. And we've talked about it all series long, where they haven't responded well to KC map pressure. And now they got Sheo, who's trying to defend on bot side, but they've completely lost track of where Closer is. Upset is on his own in this top side. Yeah. We have to see BDS. We need, if they want to take control of this game, they need to be the ones proactively making plays, not responding to KC.
They definitely do. But that vision in the river is going to make Upset a little bit safe, feel a little bit safe at the very least. He can hop over the wall if he needs to get away, and he's just going to receive some more waves. I think it's pretty hard to play make with the lack of damage coming from the Labrov and Jinx here at this stage of the game.
But I mean, again, look, we've talked about it. KC's early game has been pretty good. The proactivity's been great. Again, BDS's response has been criticized, but at 9.5 minutes here, KC sitting with 2 grubs, 1 dragon. Canna's going to keep pushing out this wave. Eragon thinks something is a little bit disgusting what's happening.
I mean, that mana bar condition is not nice for Olaf there. I mean, he has a couple of cookies he could munch on if he wants to up the mana, but he's really kind of hostage in lane at the moment. Canna can take a free reset, but
tempo.
There it is. The upset rocket cancelling his recall.
Okay, well, slows things down a little bit while minions keep battling down as BDS are hovering around the top side of the map for now. Nothing available yet. I mean, Close is just going to try and come on in and find something. The root not there either. Labrov is out with a sidestep and Sheo's there in case it gets a bit more dicey.
Nobody wants to overinvest anything on this play because Dragon is in 40 seconds, which is why you're seeing, well, what was, I thought, Upset going to be moving back towards the bot lane to Canna to take top, but with no TP, it looks like they're just going to move Upset up, knowing he's a little bit quicker on trying to move around the map thanks to that E.
Completed proto belt for Canna here. I want to see them move him up to this Grub fight potentially. I mean, Grubs are spawning soon, as well as Dragon. He either looks for a 1v1 onto the Olaf with a significant item advantage, or he joins the Grub fight and absolutely 1v9s it. It looks like he's going to choose the first one.
The only person as well with a fully completed item outside of the Zeke's Convergence. Sheo has got himself that first item we know is cheap, but the fact that there's already a proto belt on Canna just kind of shows, again, how this early game has gone, and we can't stop talking about it. It's just been so good for KC.
You can see Adam already moving up towards topside, potentially shifting up to mid. Looks like this Grub fight is going to go the way of BDS because they have numbers advantage. I mean, you can see Canna trying to follow closely behind.
KC are the ones that start it for now as well. Labrov and Ice thinking about an engage. Remember, the Jinx rocket has a short cooldown. It's already back up and available, looking for a reset.
KC only need to get one. That's all. They don't need to stick around for any more. You can go 3 for 3 and be happy with that. BDS are the ones that really want to try and get all 3 here to force themselves to 4.
Yep. I will say, as this game goes on, Adam diving the backline with a Rakan over the top of his head is incredibly hard to peel, if not impossible.
This is dangerous. Canna's a really good flank position if BDS try to overcommit to this. Targamas having no flash though, and no ult is crucial though. BDS might be able to play this with Labrov having his ultimate.
At least they're going to get the first grub, but again for KC, they're trying to move trepidatiously into this fight. Sheo gets over the wall, there's the setup onto Closer, jumping into the backline. Labrov gets deep and Closer heart breaks out, but look, Targamas and Canna into the backline as Ice is getting shredded, but Canna needs the damage, the assassin's mark! He couldn't auto Ice. They dove so deep, but KC was split in the decision.
Support diff on that one. Labrov had the level 6. He gets the charm. He gets the double knock-up and sets up for Adam to be able to make the play. But Vladi?
He runs over the wall. I mean, he flashes as well.
Way.
He's got the damage. Upset now follows too. They get nuked down and out he goes. Labrov as well running for his life while KC forces him off the grubs. A hero move.
That's the bloody rookie. Vladi is jumping into the middle of them and saying, lads, we've got to get this across the finish line. Follow my lead.
Just the sheer confidence to dash in 1 versus 3 into Fog of War, potentially. I'd love to see a replay of that, but like, this is the overall fight. Dagda, take away with the support diff.
Yeah, you can see there, just the flash in onto the back line, gets the double knock-up onto Upset and Closer, flashes away. So Adam gets the 1-for-1 trade on the top side. Targamas tries to go in the bot side, but it's 4 members of BDS that are able to peel from Canna as well.
Yeah, you can see Canna, he doesn't have the gas to keep going. Once that burst is down, it runs out, and there's nothing there to finish off the Jinx. He managed to use the get excited dodge out of the beam, but take a look at Vladi.
What a beast! Jumping into the fight, says, flash it. I'm going to flash over. I'm going to outplay you all. I'm going to set up for these kills that KC desperately needed. And off the back of that, just the control they can hold. Look at Canna. That's not the play that the rookie is supposed to make here.
I mean, man, Vladi, again, he's been a pillar for KC, hasn't he? We talked him up coming into this, and we'll talk him up again.
There is still one Void Grub there. If teams can get up into that position to try and steal it away. It wasn't taken after KC finished it, but 3-2, you're fine if you're going to look at Dragon.
Because they're looking at Dragon with a TP as well. Targamas with the engage. The ult comes out. The Magnet Storm brings him in place, and Jungle's just under fire. Sheo needs to find a way out, but he won't. KC with a big pick in front of the Dragon that would make 2.
And this is the problem. Adam has no TP, so Canna comes down, and the threat of him being there as well means everyone else has to leave. Sheo gets stuck, and Adam, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to take much in the top side.
Is it the Game 5 curse? BDS not having the best of times.
God.
It's been a couple of these objective fights that have just not quite gone their way. Canna getting back to that top end to defend the tower, but BDS are not so lucky in the bottom side.
You ask a very important question, Dagda. Gold is even. That 4th grub won't be taken for BDS in the end. It's going to reset. That becomes Herald now, and as Closer hovers around bot with a very weak turret, they want a little bit more. KC feeling it as Targamas sets up the engagement. Turret still stands strong. Upset is taking the damage for now as the engage is there. It interrupts, and there's the quickness. Targamas is dead. Culling is max ranging Upset as well. Vladi's here to save the day, though. A good boss response. A good boy. The turret almost dead, but Upset can't clean it up. Vladi dies. Upset auto attacks and he wins it out. But Sheo cleaned it up as well. We are in the mud for our Game 5. And I think Sheo's the only one to claw it out.
It's 3-2 on the kills as BDS will lose their bot lane tower, but that was very close to being a disaster. That tower stood for so long, dealing so much damage.
That tower did so much work for the side of BDS. They thought they could just finish it off with a couple of auto attacks because our loaders, but the fortification kept it alive. Initially, it was a nice knockup from Labrov to cancel the Rell W, and the Chain Season comes out, and KC, they get a little overconfident.
They weren't expecting Vladi to come in here for BDS, and he's able to get a ton of damage off. But one dies, two dies, the tower gets more shots off, and then it's Nuke just barely going down to upset, getting that little bit of extra damage to sneak past Sheo as well to set him up. But that is now 4 kills on towards upset, and when KC have needed someone to stand up, it has been upset so often.
And then we just come back and like, wait, maybe Jackie's is right. I mean, the game 5, upset 4 kills Zeri is going to get them through at this point. 1,700 gold lead, 2 items. Upset got so much off the back of that play, and now for BDS challenging the Herald, this could be doom if Upset gets uptime, and I'm looking at BDS trying to approach.
Canna has a great flank angle as well. BDS have to respect it. Ignite and ultimate available. Upset looking to poke Sheo out over the wall. The Rift Herald lower and lower.
Some of our best team fighters are trying to find their fight of their dreams, but KC get themselves a Herald. Targamas goes in. Perfect execution, but the charm! Labrov's knock-up is big. Adam is cleaning it up as the Heartbreaker out in the back line is even bigger. Adam survives. Canna jumps in, but he dies for the trade. You've got to clean up the rest. And Labrov, man, the support diff in this game 5 is insane.
It's absolutely massive. BDS find another team fight win, and now it looks like it's going to be the mid lane tower as well.
I cannot believe BDS managed to come out on the back of that, especially as I saw at the end, Ice was basically zoned out entirely, but just having enough damage with Nuke and friends to finish off Canna, finish off that fight. But KC, they want to interrupt. Labrov, give him the dash, Ice, give him the dash.
Man, okay, Labrov's going to get on out. He's not caught, but Nuke is finding the side lane.
Rift Herald in the mid lane. Immediately KC want to try and punish that. Labrov getting caught out, so they will be able to get this mid lane tower. I'm pretty sure, especially with the next wave, Upset should deal just enough damage, but BDS fighting hard to keep this mid turret alive.
And the fight just keeps going. I mean, you'd think in a game 5, everyone would be a bit more reserved, but they keep pulling the trigger closer, trying to find an avenue with that Rift Herald, sending it down mid lane. Let's take a look at this replay in this fight. It looks like Canna maybe can do something, but I think he gets his Shroud off late. If you take a look at when he engages, he gets chunked before anything can happen on this flank.
Yeah, you can see him come in here, and Labrov, immediately he dashes into the charm, so can't end up getting that Shroud down. Then it's the knock-up. Nuke is dealing so much in this fight, because you can see Ice, he got separated over the wall, so it has to be on the BDS mid laner to step up, and he's just shooting people down left, right, and center.
I mean, it's 10 out of 10 kill participation as well. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? Who will win, BDS or KC? You can spam in chat because this game 5 is electric. It's 2 dragons to KC, and we want to hear it. 45 seconds until the next one spawns would lead to Soul Point for KC.
Adam is already on the mid wave, shoving that in, wants to make sure they can get control there, get the vision that BDS desperately want for KC, looking to approach this objective. Nuke, the only one with TP, considered going top, but is immediately going to go bot to match the pressure here from KC.
Yeah, first mid, move into the river for BDS. You have Prio in the bot lane because you have that TP advantage for Canna. You don't have it on Adam. Wow, that's close.
It is close indeed, and a fight's about to brew on top of it as well. You keep your eyes peeled because, again, this third dragon, I watch for Labrov with flash available. Guys, we also have a 2-item Lucian on Nuke.
Someone needs to match Canna. Nuke is keeping his eyes on him, but I don't think you really want to be that one that spots him out. They need vision in behind them because Canna can threaten this at all points in time, and not having Nuke there to open up with Culling gives an opportunity for Targamas to look for engage.
You can see Canna tried to go for the flank down the left side, but he sees he's spotted out and is now going up the opposite side as well. But BDS are doing such a good job of marking him. He's finding it really hard to find a way in.
So Sheo is tanking up as well. Labrov is absorbing the damage too.
Ice going towards the mid lane. They're going to threaten the turret, so KC, they're going to start this up. They're going to push back BDS.
I mean, Targamas starts to engage onto Labrov again. We watch for his flash to try and get this game across the finish line to get BDS back into the top 3. KC now going to be quickness on. Canna's caught out. The hope of the top lane is just dead at melee range. It's a snipe. GG kill. KC off the back end, and BDS zone them out while the dragon is denied from going to Soul Point. and Canna thought he had the edge on them, but it was BDS lying in wait.
Canna with the counter pick, Akali trying his best to find a flank the entire time, just gets chain CC'd by Labrov with the Rakan knock-up, and he falls. Immediately going to be a Mountain Dragon over the side of BDS.
I think we've got to start praising Labrov more and more, man. I mean, this game is absolutely bonkers as Adam and Sheo find closer, walking into a jungle that's no longer his. The permafrost stacked up as well. That easy. Guess who was involved in the kill again? And guess what Adam got?
It has not been a great playoffs for Labrov, but when BDS need him most, in Game 5, to push them to the top 3 in the LEC, Labrov is stepping up massive on this Rakan and consistently finding the picks.
Things coming down onto the Nash. I wonder if KC might just pull the trigger on the Nash at one point here. They do have double AD carry. They seem to be fishing for it.
The question is, how desperate are you getting, right? Because again, in the early game, we saw some good kills from KC in the top side, but every time BDS are now in a fight, it seems to be going their way as Labrov finds Targamas looking for a return, but a 3k gold lead, a Dragon Soul stacking denied, and 3 grubs. BDS are moving into this mid-game quite strong with very fed carries.
And I think the biggest thing this game is Labrov managing to mitigate the potential flank opportunities that Canna does have on this Akali. He can never find a way into the backline, and because of that, the AD carries can free hit.
And this is the problem. Every time I think of what can KC do, it's like, they can't. Can you try and play for sides? Not really, because Ice controls mid lane, opens up for Labrov to roam, opens up for Sheo to play around them. Can you try and look for those potential team fights? You can't, because of how well BDS have set themselves up with the vision control. How do you try and get back into this game as KC? It has to be some sort of miracle flank. It has to be some sort of like TP down onto this ward to try and find this flank in onto the mid lane. But even then, BDS are playing so heavily into this topside jungle. These small wards that have already been placed by KC mean nothing.
And I mean, in KC, the fans are behind them. If you're wondering about the vote, bottom left, you can see 53%. The fans obviously behind them. But right now, BDS have the edge. And I mean, KC, they've come so close. It would be devastating if this team drops out right before the finish line, right before the safety net of season finals, right before that top 3. It's BDS's rightful place. But KC are coming up in, I was going to say disgrace, not absolutely. They're taking over. They just need to get through this final gap.
And I think now, what it's coming down to is upset. I think him, 2.5 items, almost 3 with that Lord Dominic's guards. Once he completes that, he's going to be the strongest member of his team by far. You can see that they're funneling so much gold into him in terms of item parity. He's the closest. And I think it's on him in these team fights to turn it around.
One engage from Targamas, one big fight from Upset, the execute from Canna. It can turn back in KC's favor, but as this game is slowed down, as BDS look to set up the vision, play for objectives, this is where BDS are going to look to slowly choke them out, not give them that opportunity. We've seen BDS stumble in these positions before, but BDS in this series have looked way more locked in than we've seen all playoffs long. And it's now Adam who's moving bot to catch up Canna.
Because Canna's full committing, isn't he? Perfect execution there, and the culling comes through, but now an undertow to follow in as Nuke gets ultied out and the Shuriken toss to get on out, but there's a pick in mid onto Targamas, and Labrov with the quickness out, puts Targamas into a corner and gives Ice a nice reset. He moves into the mid lane and Closer can't do a thing but watches BDS with the pick have some turrets to start taking.
The wall worked against the blue wall there. Targamas couldn't get over it and ends up getting caught out. So then BDS find the pick, but there's not much they can really get off the back of it. It's some vision, it's some breathing room, but the dragon in a minute is still what we're looking at.
And BDS, you can tell they're reading all the plays. They knew Canna would potentially try to cheese. You had Adam shadowing Nuke in the side lane, so if Canna even tried to all in, Canna would have to disengage as well. So every single play the KC are making is getting read.
Jackies must be sitting on the desk, must be sitting with Sjokz, with Guldborg, and thinking, oh my god, I think they can do it.
Every member of Giant X the same. Every member of MDK hoping they can take that 4th place the same. So much rides on this final game, both for KC and for so many other teams. But Karmine Corp, with their backs against the wall, need to find something here, some moment, and they're trying to find that pick onto Nuke. He still has flashed them.
Because Upset, he has 3 items, the hope, the carry, the pride of KC. Culling now going to be running into those 3 members as Nuke's ult is now down closer, pivoting off the edge, looking for the pick. Nuke walks into it though. The engage from Targamas is big. The shock from Upset, also bigger as the rocket flies through, but Upset has his ulti available. Nuke might get the kill, but Canna fully sends it, runs on in. The final fight isn't a big question mark as the Shuriken flip. It's baited. Permafrost there. Labrov for the first time this game, not getting a good engage. BDS are low. They have to run.
They've got the Scuttle Crab though, that giving them the speed up to try and disengage. They will be able to escape. It was KC looking for the pick, but Upset, he still has closer here. Sheo on the way. Nuke has teleport if they want to try and overcommit for this, but Upset going to back it on away.
It's a nice attempt. Targamas trying to find the play, but in the end it's an overextension. He falls. Regardless, though, not quite a Nash start for BDS.
And as we talk and live and
turret
breathe, and yeah, the turret is going to die.
Ooh, denying the local gold.
Yeah, he did. Looks like he wanted to. Still gives global gold over to BDS as Ice also picks up the dragon, which is stats for this Olaf and Sej. Gents, I was going to say, uptime for Upset in that last fight, although it didn't amount to anything, we're starting to see what it can do, and we're starting to see, again, why KC want to stay in that fight.
But it's about to be sad time for Upset, because Mountain Dragons being stacked for BDS is a disaster for them.
Very true.
You do not want, like, you're looking at Canna trying to burst people out, Vladi trying to find these fights, but the more stats that you are getting to beat that, it makes it very difficult for KC to really find these threats in these fights.
And so far, let's just say, compositionally, I mean, we loved what KC did in the draft, right? We loved the response, but this Akali top hasn't delivered on the level that we expected. I guess the lane swap, you could argue, for BDS was a start to that, but I think when we saw the early game lead, we saw it good for KC, and we didn't see the lane swap go all that well for BDS.
But the thing is, you look at that last fight, that could have gone KC's way.
Yep.
It was so close. Now, don't get me wrong, BDS, you know, Sheo's ult went wide. There was a lot of missteps. Labrov ult missing and going that bit too far forward. But if these mistakes come through, KC can capitalize. It's just about trying to find those moments.
And what you're saying about the Akali, so much of what Akali as a pick should promise you in terms of team composition is just not shining through.
Yep.
The side lane threat onto AD carries, the ability to dive backline with very minimal peel, it's just not there because players like Labrov finding the engages. You saw Sheo in the last fight headbutting Akali out of the engage and locking her up, and she just could not move because she had all the stacks on her.
Because right now, Adam is rushing backline, and it's working better, right? Adam has been more influential on this Olaf, now with 2 items in Hysterics Gauge, which gives survivability. Then Canna, and, you know, there's experience there in the top lane, but it's nice to see Adam in a game 5 also stepping up to the plate when he was criticized coming into this series.
BDS are stalling, though.
They are.
They aren't finding the push that they need. Like, Ice is getting control over mid, but getting vision in this top side has not been happening. Getting pressure onto this top lane has not been happening. The game is slowing down, and it's giving KC these moments for Upset to finish off a potential Infinity Edge, but here BDS, they're stepping forward.
So the thing is with BDS right now is that they have side push in both sides, and what they can do is bring up Nuke into the mid lane and then continuously get pressure in that top side, potentially able to start up Nash at any point right now. Look at this vision. It's going to be so incredibly hard for KC to check. I mean, they do have a little bit of vision, but they don't know if the Nash is being started.
Again, completely blind, as you said. Labrov is hovering over the wall. He can join at any time. Blast Cone is separating them as KC need to walk on in for the series, for the game, for their season finals, for their life, as Targamas is hit out hard with range. 5k being bursted down. Upset's doing damage, but still the Baron holds its ground as Closer looks for the steal. Baron hasn't fully reset. It hasn't fully reset. KC are running into the pit. They're hoping to trace it down. Closer's dead. Baron hits the ground. Canna has to get out of there, but BDS, their macro is safe and sound.
Adam is trying to chase them out, but Targamas goes in.
Magnus Storm is there. Sheo re-engages onto Upset, who needs his uptime. He starts fighting it out, but Nuke runs in and takes him down. BDS are given Giant X signs of life.
Upset tries to find the angle, dashing over the wall, but Nuke does too much damage and 2 shots him.
The curse might be broken here.
Dagda,
BDS with the Baron in tow will crack open the base. The TP from Nuke onto the bottom side. They want to try and get more. KC, what have you got left in the tank? Because it feels like BDS have run it dry.
It's a major advantage. It's a major play. It is 10k now in BDS's back pocket. In a turret bot drops. KC are well and truly in the backlogs of this game. Their year in culmination now decided by what looks like this Baron.
But it looked like maybe this could be the steal from Closer. Watch as he goes in, gets the invincibility. Upset, putting damage onto Labrov, manages to scoot away. And here they just about manage to keep the Baron rolling.
Nice attempt.
But the second Adam spots Closer, it's all hands on deck. Finish the Viego, finish the Baron, finish KC. But here, the re-engage from Targamas nearly goes well.
Yeah, and you can see Upset trying to fly over the wall as well. But take a look at Nuke's damage. It's just too much. He's too fed, and one shot Upset through the double auto attacks.
Canna jumps back into the team. Ice is all she wrote, and Nuke again. I mean, another great performance on this Lucian. Someone who I voted as one of the best mid laners throughout the split as well, throughout this regular season and playoffs. It feels like Nuke, although BDS haven't had the best time, Nuke has been that guy in some games, and it feels like in Game 5 on this Lucian, he's that guy again.
Solo killing Humanoid, now stepping up against Upset, trying desperately to lead BDS to the promised land, to guarantee themselves that they will continue to be the gatekeepers of top 3. And Baron buff now working with them. Another inhibitor tower falls.
Upset needs to pull off a miracle here. He has all the gold, all the damage, and if they can find a Viego reset, that's exactly what they need for Closer.
They haven't found one all game, have they? Closer, it's his most played champion, or his second most played rather. And BDS now with a reset, try to find the final trigger as Upset sitting back, Closer's tagged out, the range is too much to deal with. Nuke as well, burns a hole right through them. Even the zap is hard to look at. The range, Eragon says exactly right. One Nexus turret left remaining.
Targamas has flash though. Can he find the engage? It has to be on the Rell. It has to be the support.
The man who's been criticised all year finds a Magnet Storm, but Ice is not in it. KC have run out of gas. The Nexus exposed. The blue wall has turned grey. A year completely done. They were so close yet so far, and BDS will carry with them Giant X to the season finals. And BDS back to the top 3, Dagda. I want you to tell me that curse is gone.
The curse has been broken. Game 5's no longer hold back BDS. Top 3 is secured, but the next curse remains as they will look to face off against G2 in their next series tomorrow.
I'm scared. Labrov doing so much work in that game. The constant peel, the engages, his Rakan, making Canna a complete non-factor, playing so damn well.
On the opposite side though, heartbreak for KC. We will have to vote for your key player of the series at LEC on BDR on X, Sheo, Nuke or Ice as we toss it over.
Well, you can toss it to me, Dagda, because as you guys were saying, it was an insane end of year for KC. They challenged BDS. You know, you got to say your farewells because KC were one game away from not only going to season finals, but going to the top 3 as many people started thinking, well, maybe they can do it. A dream run taken away, and now their year done until 2025.
They will fall here, but they were one of our top teams.
Yeah.
KC showed up. KC showed what the blue wall really could do, and it is heartbreaking that we will not see them in the season finals. Let's be real, they are one of our best teams, but it is BDS who are all smiles and giggles as they will find themselves in towards that top 3 spot.
It's such a shame because I feel like everything positive about the game, it culminated at the right time. It felt like everything was going well, whether it was gameplay, whether it was meta, everything. People stepping up where they weren't before. It just wasn't enough in the end. I mean,
at the end, you know, they showed what they can do. 2025 is an exciting year. That was an exhausting series, 4.5 hours plus. In that BO5.
And now BDS have to do it again tomorrow.
They do.
And if they win, they have to do it again the next day. This is a grueling weekend for BDS after KC pushed them to 5 games, but they now have to find that success again against G2 of all teams tomorrow.
That'll be a fun best of 5. There's a lot of questions raising. You know, BDS showed some weakness in this series. I think we saw as well, and thankfully we saw that Labrov can play more than just Rell. And we know he can, right? We know he can play engage, but the Rakan he excels on, much like the Rell. Same performance. I just cannot believe the quality that came out of that man when his back was also against the wall.
Incredible stuff, and especially when Labrov has been struggling at times in playoffs, getting caught out in positions where he really shouldn't be. He stepped up massively, and also with the man who we will get on the stage in just a moment, Sheo, had a phenomenal performance, and Trouble is going to hear all about that over on the stage.
Thank you, Dagda. Absolutely agree. You had a phenomenal performance. Congratulations on locking the top 3. 100% kill participation in that last game. I guess Sejuani is a little bit broken. But before we dive into that interview, Sheo, I want to extend some thank yous from the Giant X fan base, because by you guys winning right here, you also guaranteed them season finals, such as yourselves. Now that we've got a moment, give me all your thoughts about that last game, because you guys were throwing bodies left, right, and center.
I mean, I think we were kind of prepared in the last game because we had like the Sejuani, and I think the teams that get Sejuani is pretty happy, I will say, because we knew he's not comfortable on AP jungle. So we took the Sejuani and he went on Viego. So I think just on that, the game was like 3-win already.
All right, I interviewed Adam the other time in the Giant X series, and he was all nerves. He was like, that series was absolutely terrible. We played so bad. What would you consider this series in terms of what you learned playing versus Giant X and bringing it here?
I think we showed a better gameplay already. I think first game we should have won it and then it would be 3-0, but we kind of choked and it was like 50-minute games. But I think overall we played way better than in the best of 3. We are way more cool as well and way more prepared in draft as well.
Would you agree that this particular series versus KC was a little bit of a draft game overall? It felt like you guys lost in game number 1 and then every single one of you went on comfort champions. Was that something that you guys did on purpose just to get back into the headspace of winning?
I mean, the first game should have been win, but we lost with AP jungle, right? And then when we lose the AP junglers, we say, oh, the tank junglers are so strong. So we went back on Sejuani and we take the win on the second game.
All right, and then you guys realized that Sejuani and Maokai are very strong on closer, and you didn't give them any of that. Yeah. Was that the case? Did you not expect him to have anything else in the pool to go against you?
I mean, we thought that he's mostly playing Sejuani Maokai Vi. Into Vi, we had the Morgana prepared. And then if we ban like his 3 picks, he's kind of out of champions.
Now, the series overall did not seem easy. You guys seemed a little bit lost when it came to the side lane pressure, I want to say. What was the communication like? Because it felt like you guys were very focused on playing a lot of team fight compositions, with Adam going for the Malphites and the Science, rather than creating a lot of side lane pressure against KC.
I mean, we knew that they can like always play late game and team fights, and we didn't have like the Tristana in our teams, so we cannot really play sides. And we went only like for the full front to back classic stuff. If it goes to late game, we just play better team fights and win it.
And apparently you guys did, because you did play better team fights overall. Now the question remains, you guys have to play G2. And everyone's been talking about a curse because you have not been able to bring them down in a best of 5. However, G2 has not been able to make it out of a lower bracket ever since the format changed. So they haven't won through the lower bracket. Now you guys are facing them in the lower bracket, but you haven't beat them in the best of. What do you think about that?
I mean, we want to win the split and go finals, so we'll have to beat them no matter what. So we'll do our best and beat G2 tomorrow. You're
going to beat the G2? What's going to be the score?
3-0.
3-0. You're going to deprive us of 5 games? All right, 3-0. Thank you so much, Sheo. Congratulations on the win. We're going to throw it over to Sjokz, who's standing by with Nuke Labrov in the post-game lobby.
Yes, I am. And also a very, very happy Jackie.